I've come from a restaurant and horticulture background. Coming to primary production really opened my eyes to the systems focus that you can have around farming. My name's Alan Smith.
And my name's Lucy Miller.
And we work and live on Rocking Chair Farm near Dungog in New South Wales. Rocking Chair Farm is 91 hectares. We run cattle, sheep and chickens. We also have a few experiments growing hops. The term regenerative agriculture is the combination of lots of different areas and approaches based around leaving the land better than when we received it.
Traditionally, agriculture, you're exporting something from the land, so that's nutrients, right? So you take that away and you've basically got to replace it. What we're trying to do is actually add the biodiversity back. So cattle, sheep, hops, chickens, using them and multi-species pastures and compost and soil additives to create that biodiversity so that we don't need to add in fertiliser. Nature does it for us.
We first used compost at the beginning of our journey to test a few experiments out. We split the paddock into 3 sections. A third of that we used a compost spreader, a third of that we used as a control and put nothing on, and then a third we used a traditional fertiliser additive. We recorded the growth through soil testing, and results that we found were really interesting to see.
A bright green grass in a paddock that's had a high nitrogen fertiliser on it will, look really big and lush and green. But then you actually put a spade in the ground and dig it up and there's not much organic matter or any sort of activity going on. Really shallow roots we found under the ground.
We try and limit the amount of times we go over the paddocks with the tractor because we don't want to add to the compaction. We've mounted an air seeder on an aerator, and the tines of that just make the gaps for the seeds to fall in, and it means that we only have to do, one pass with the machine, and then we go over with a roller to improve soil contact as well.
We try and move the cattle at a minimum every 3 days, so they move onto fresh pasture that doesn't have any of their own poo on it, so we reduce our worm burden, but also it allows the grass to recover. It also concentrates their manure in one place as well. Them treading down grass and adding their manure is a way of adding organic matter and nutrients, right? But they're not treading that down further. They've moved on to the next pasture. So with the compost trial that we ran probably about 5 years ago now, there wasn't any instantaneous result with it. The fertiliser by far outperformed it that year. But since then we have done some soil tests, and the soil in the pasture where the compost was applied, over the years, it has tended to outperform the rest of the pasture.
Traditionally, regenerative farming is seen as a bit of a plaything. It's for people with lots of money that want to have a very idealistic view of farming. A big thing that we're trying to do is prove that there is profitability in it. To be able to do that on a large scale, we are having to look at making our own. For millennia, compost has been the main way in which people add nutrients back to try and improve their soil. We can try and collect as much waste that farms no longer want or businesses no longer want. We can collect spent silage, green waste from restaurants, councils to help grow the food that we can then provide back to the local community.
And the benefit of growing it ourselves is we do end up with the microbes that grow in our area. So making our own, it's more profitable and it's better for our little environment here.
The future of the farming project that we're doing here is really about developing the community that we live in.
It's really nice we're able to invite other farmers from the area to our property and also visiting their properties and seeing what they're doing differently and just sharing the knowledge that we've got. It's definitely gaining momentum as people are more interested about where their food is coming from and how it's produced. We need to think quite carefully about the profitability. We want to make the best quality beef, the best quality lamb, in the future the best quality meat chickens, and we sell them at a higher price point for that quality rather than chasing the cheapest but the highest volume.
One of the things with farming that I really want to see improve is respect for the natural systems and the complexity that's involved with that.
And understanding that the farm is a whole system of itself.
We're building in resilience to the landscape, which helps us run a business.